This is Total Telecom TV at Carrier's World. I'm talking to Fred Schepens of Vodafone Carrier Services. Fred, you've just given a fascinating insight into the whole sector and Vodafone here at the event. But you talked about essentially 3 key challenges. Just take us through those.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much, Brian, for having me here, and it's an honor to be part of this wonderful event. So in terms of our 3 challenges what we see today, the first one is the network, the coverage, the capacity. We're going through a tremendous growth all over the place. People are demanding more and more bandwidth, and that's one of the key issues which we need to make sure that we can address on a global scale as well as a national point. A second point is the enterprise, because the enterprise businesses are more and more demanding, and we as an operator are of course there to serve them, and then the underlying part is of course the carrier services, which are of course there in order to bring the pipelines up to speed, backhauling all the capacity we need wherever we need, tapping into the machine-to-machine opportunity, make sure that every device can be enabled afterwards also in order to transact either data or anything else. And the last point we've debated quickly is also the opportunity and the threat of the OTT, of course, which is a challenging one in one sense, because the OTT were chipping away all the traditional or a part of the traditional voice and messaging revenue. But now it's coming back to us because there's a move towards data, and data is becoming more and more important, especially with the rollouts of the 3G and 4G networks, where we as a carrier, we could see that as a big opportunity because it's been mutated to that part, and where we as a carrier, we will be able to carry all that traffic, which is now data traffic, across the globe, which is for us also a kind of an upside in the whole business portfolio. Yes.
One of the things that I found particularly fascinating and a learning curve for me was the amount of fixed line that Vodafone has. I don't think people really understand that.
Now, people traditionally think as a mobile operator, which we still are, and we are one of the largest in the world. However, with the recent mergers and acquisitions we've done in the past 10 years, kind of a well-kept secret is that we have about, I need to count, 10 or 12 second fixed line operations in certain countries with a very deep local access network. An example is Germany, the UK, New Zealand even, Turkey, where we will really have a wonderful network, which people don't know actually, and which is great, of course, to have. Yeah.
Now, as part of your keynote, the concluding message was very upbeat in the fact that you urged the industry. This was an opportunity to collaborate, to get together, to bring the whole sort of global network forward. This is something that you believe in passionately, by the looks of it.
Yeah, no, I think although a lot of the participants were picturing a gloomy market, and of course the revenue is going down, the MTRs are going down, reduced by 50 to 80%. In the last years, I think if a carrier and operator works closely together and we can each of us bring a piece into this new ecosystem, we do think there's an upside for everyone. There's a gradual shift from the traditional voice and data services to the new ones, which are more catered to mainly data actually. And if people can tap into that efficiently, I think we're well set for a new area there, that's for sure.
Well, that's a great message, Fred, and thank you very much for sharing that with us today.
Thank you, Brian.